села Лесопильного Бикинского района наблюдали ночью неопознанный летающий объект. Они утверждают, что явственно видели огромную летающую тарелку. Скопление светящихся кругов не было похоже ни на одно из небесных тел, известных науке. Объект, явление или обман зрения, выясняла Евгения Вдовиченко.
Как бы правильно рассказать по-русски, для меня это был шок. И страх, и любопытство.
В селе Лесопильное местные жители, не сговариваясь, объявили чрезвычайное положение. Беда пришла, откуда не ждали, с неба.
Он в объеме 200 метров где-то. Он зависает почти над всем озером.
200, факт то, что...
Понимаешь, он больше самолета. В полете самолет
больше,
видела?
Больше.
Вот этот
больше.
Последний, как он... Этот Джет-100. Больше этого самолета намного.
Местные жители попрятались по домам, а к инопланетным гостям отправили разведчика. Подросток зарисовал инопланетный корабль. Хотел сфотографировать, но земная техника внеземной уступила.
Взял свой мамин телефон, там по 2 мегапикселя всего. Разрешение маленькое, и получилось, что там темно очень было. Хотел приблизить, а там помехи какие-то начали.
НЛО засекли и военные. И хоть радары противовоздушной обороны объект не распознали, офицеры выстрелили в него из сигнальной ракетницы. На всякий случай. Специалисты ВВС уверены, это не космический корабль, а метеообразование. Такие часто наблюдают в межсезонье, в мае и сентябре. Вода испаряется с Земли и кристаллизуется в атмосфере.
Ледяшка как будто она тает, эффект как будто она улетает.
Kinds of encounter he defined, from the sighting something unusual in the sky, to physical evidence of the sighting, to encountering some kind of occupant of a UFO. It was this last one that captured the world's imagination, even inspiring the Steven Spielberg movie, appropriately titled Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Contact with the occupants of a UFO is probably the ultimate goal of every UFO researcher, for it would prove what many of them have long suspected, that we are being visited by beings from another world, or even many worlds. However, with the cases of alien abduction and experimentation aside, direct contact and the exchange of information between alien pilots and human witnesses has been rare and often controversial. Even rarer are the cases of repeated contacts over a period of time. In 2009, a story broke in the Italian media that, if true, is one of the most fascinating cases of contact in the history of ufology, featuring not only numerous communications between humans and UFO occupants, but also pre-arranged demonstrations of UFO technology, including teleportation and the outlining of how and why this planet has attracted the attention of an interstellar community. Known outside of Italy as the Friendship Case, but simply referred to as the story by those involved. It was not until engineer and witness Stefano Breccia went public after collecting the testimonies of those involved, who were still alive, that the world became aware of the case. It began in April 1956 when Bruno Samasia and two friends decided to go for a walk around the grounds of a local castle near Pescara on the east coast of Italy. The three men had no idea that this casual stroll would result in a life-changing encounter with three alien beings. The aliens looked human, but the Italians could sense that they were not quite right. The aliens introduced themselves and began explaining who they were and their mission on Earth, referred to as the W56 aliens, referencing the year of contact. They would come to be known to the Italians simply as their friends, despite the W56 beings all looking similar to humans. The Italians noticed that there were distinct differences between them. One, for example, was incredibly tall, while in contrast to this, another of the beings was exceptionally short. But both had well-formed body shapes. The W56 explained why there were such noticeable differences between their members. It seems that the beings were not from one single planet, but an interstellar alliance of many planets spread across the galaxy. The differences, therefore, most likely arose from the unique properties the beings encountered living on their individual planets, such as variations in gravity. The beings explained that life on our own planet was created for some positive purpose within this alliance of planets. But now, in the 1950s and beyond, mankind was threatening that objective. With our corrupted morals and the advent of nuclear weaponry, the W56 beings expressed their grave concern that humanity was on a collision course with self-destruction, and they aimed to help guide us back onto the right path. When asked why the beings are operating in secret, they explained that human society at large was not yet able to handle this knowledge, and would likely lead to the calamity they were trying to avoid. And that was not all. It seemed that the W56 beings had enemies in the form of artificially created beings they referred to as contraries. The contraries were materialistic and preoccupied with the acquisition of objects and territory. The W56 beings added that one of their fears was that if mankind continued on its current path, then they would end up like the contraries. After the initial contact, Bruno and his two friends became the nucleus of a contactee group in eastern Italy for communicating with their new friends. Over the coming years, the W56 beings would make contact on a regular basis with the group, and in a number of remarkable ways. Home appliances such as radios and television sets were taken over by them to send their message of peace, and the Italians managed to record a number of their broadcasts in which their pleas for global cooperation were made in perfect Italian. Perhaps even more incredibly, the W56 beings would use their teleportation technology to beam notes to the Italians. The group began to identify key alien personnel and assigning them names, with the alien leader being referred to as Dim Pietro. The W56 beings explained to them that there were numerous underground and undersea bases around the world to allow them to carry out their mission here on Earth. Most continents had at least one exceptionally large underground base, with Europe having one under Italy. These main bases were so large that they even had their own weather patterns, and were created using extremely advanced technology that repurposed the soil to create a livable space. This method proved extremely unstable, however, and the W56 beings explained that if their technology was deactivated or lost power, then the caverns would close up, as if the base were never there in the first place. As well as these large bases, there were also numerous support bases dotted around the globe that were much smaller and generally served observational roles. It seems that the W56 beings were never afraid to show off their technology. On more than one occasion, members of the group were invited to view spectacular demonstrations of what their craft were capable of doing. They also didn't appear to have any reservations about photographs and video being taken of the demonstrations. The recordings of these crafts in flight show them as traditional saucer-type vehicles performing typical UFO maneuvers, such as sudden changes of direction that no normal aircraft could achieve. The exterior of these craft were often blurred, something that Dimitro's people explained was condensation as a result of the craft's propulsion systems. They also explained that rather than the laws of physics, their technology had more of a basis in what we would define as the spirit world. The images recorded by the group have come under scrutiny by researchers. While modern analysis techniques show that the images are genuine and have not been tampered with, such as imposing the images of the craft onto photographs or video of the countryside, meaning they were real objects, it does not dismiss the possibility the images were made using models suspended on rope or hurled through the air, as some skeptics have suggested. Somewhat curiously, Dim Pietro and his alien compatriots began asking for help in acquiring supplies for them to use here on Earth. they would ask for large quantities of fruit, metals, and barium nitrate, which had little use for humans in 1956. Some of the supplies were paid for by the W56 beings themselves, but mostly it was the contactee group that had to foot the bill. Whenever the supplies were delivered, Bruno and his friends would have to distract the drivers in some way, so they wouldn't be being teleported away. The group often questioned why such an advanced alien race would need such help, but supporters of this story have argued that this was probably an exercise to either make the Italian group feel involved in Dimpietro's peace mission, or to test the Italians' commitment. Eventually, the contact group swelled to over 120 members of various levels of involvement. It also included non-Italians, and there are reports that the W56 beings made contact with others in other countries. Unfortunately, as the years went by, the contactee group lost their own cohesion and began to split up. Contact seemed to have continued to some degree right up to the 1990s, while some have claimed to still be in contact with the W56 aliens. Like many such spectacular cases of alien contact, doubts have been cast over the authenticity of the case. Some have suggested that the whole thing had been fabricated, while others have put forward the possibility that the contactees were the victims of an elaborate hoax. However, there is one intriguing piece of evidence to consider. Dimpietro explained that his people had been on Earth for centuries, carrying out their mission of peace, and when he revealed his people's real name as Akrij, investigations found the term or variations